Hello folks, Bill Swift from Swift Canoe and Kayak, and we have some Aussie blokes with us, Travis and Dan, and they're visiting us. They run Paddle and Portage canoes in Australia. And the tour company name again?
Valley Outdoors.
Valley Outdoors. I'll remember that one day, because that's an important part of the business.
Yep.
Now, I know that you guys, before you came here, just visited the Canadian Canoe Museum. And our good friend Jeremy Ward even gave you a little bit of a special tour there.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about what a place.
What a place.
People that are going there these days, they've just completely put up this new facility, have boats from all over the world. And there's so much to say, Travis, but what are your perspectives now after being there?
I thought I knew what I was going to experience going there, and it far exceeded those expectations. It's so mind-blowing and an inspirational experience that I'm still struggling to put into words. So I followed the whole process from the conceptualization of the new museum, the build, the transportation of the boats, and I even knew some of the stories of canoes I was going to see there, but still, it took my breath away. And meeting Jeremy and having the tour from him was something I'm never going to forget. And stepping into that collection hall, I had to stop and take a deep breath and just collect myself, because the energy of the quantity of canoes in that room was tangible. And I honestly think you don't need to be a canoe fanatic to enjoy the place. Just anybody who appreciates anything about history, culture, the outdoors would be affected by that place. It was so inspirational.
So just quickly, your wife, Sarah, who is Aboriginal Australian.
Correct.
She came to me and said, Bill, it was a moving experience for me. And when we left, I had to ask the guys to pull over on the side of the road so I could just collect myself. But she was so affected by it.
It was, I mean, I've been saying jokingly this morning, it was a spiritual experience, but it really was. It was a life-altering spiritual experience seeing that place. And I really wanted to, because I wanted to see it for ourselves, but I want to go back to Australia and tell people about it and encourage them to visit when they come and to make a trip there. If they have any interest in canoes at all, they need to go there. It's not just they should, they need to.
No, and it's not just canoes from Canada there. It's from canoes from all over the world. So did you recognize some of the Polynesian boats?
Well, I was impressed. Dan did. Yeah.
Yeah, there was this beautiful outrigger Polynesian boat, and it just caught my eye. And like some of the design cues really, because I'm actually half New Zealander or Kiwi, and it very much reminded me of sort of the Māori sort of designs with this mast that would have gone in the middle. And I just kept on looking over at it, and it was a really cool in that private collection section, which we're very privileged to go and have a look at. With Jeremy, and I just couldn't stop turning my head towards it as Jeremy was talking. I had to ask the question before we headed off, and he gave me a bit of a rundown on it, which was fantastic. Yeah.
When I was in New Zealand for a while, I read a history book, and they talked about in between Australia and New Zealand, that's how they used to go back and forth, was in those boats.
That's a treacherous body of water too. And interestingly, we were talking to Jeremy about, because the Australian Aboriginal canoe history is long and rich, and it's beautiful. And depending on, I mean, like here, boats varied in design and material based on what was available. And we're very, very fortunate that in our shop we have what's known as a naui, made by the people of our region out of a stringy bark tree. So we actually have one that was built at a festival that we organized called the FARC, the Festival of Canoe and Kayak. And they did a corroboree, and they made a bark naui, a traditional bark naui at the festival, paddled it that day, let it dry, and it's presented in our store. And I was looking at his collection and noticing that was one thing missing that I would love to find a way to contribute to the museum.
And what is it made out of?
So this naui is made out of a tree called stringy bark, and it's a tree that has multiple uses. The bark can be used to make cordage and string. It can be used to start fires. And if you actually take a patch out of the tree lives on. They call it a scar tree. And the stringy bark itself is very thick and fibrous and buoyant, and they formed it into a canoe.
Sounds somewhat similar to birch bark.
Yeah. And interestingly, in Australian Aboriginal canoeing culture, with these types of boats, they would often have a, I believe it was a clay pan and then sand, and have a fire inside the boat, and they could cook as they're paddling, which is quite a unique thing.
So we've had a seaplane buzzing around us a little bit, making a little ambient noise. But guys, if you want people to know what the Canadian Canoe Museum's all about, maybe we'll start with you, Dan. What
Yeah.
would you like to say to people about the experience of going there?
Yeah, well, this is my first time in Canada, and actually getting to experience the canoe culture over here. And my only experience has been Australian canoe culture, and then getting to get a very small snapshot from the beautiful boats that we've been bringing over. But for a place to get this concentrated understanding of just how important canoes are over here, and just how usable and how far you can go, and just all the different ways you can build them to create those awesome designs that you guys have experienced over here, that just weren't available to us until we started seeing them creep into our market. Yeah, it's a great way to get that backstory, and really it really rolled up a bit more passion. I thought I was passionate before, but just being able to actually kind of see the full history of these boats that have been coming in, and just how usable they were in this environment was a truly eye-opening and yeah, amazing experience.
And Travis?
I have such an amazing amount of gratitude that the indigenous cultures around the planet have found ways to use the natural resources around them to get onto the water. And I really find that remarkable. And the entire museum to me felt like a celebration of that history, and then a lovely and tasteful transition of where that history began, and then what it's evolved to. So having birch bark canoes being made on site by the artist in residence Pinnock, to seeing a couple of your canoes there as new, was just, for me, it was the entire piece from start to modern day was really remarkable. And the fact that it's not just a museum standalone, that it's actually on the water, and then you can go outside after you're all inspired to paddle and hire a canoe and go for a bit of a paddle on the lake was, I mean, that's just something else. Yeah, what a day.
And Jeremy's office is overlooking that beautiful water, watching people using the canoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to improve staff retention, I imagine.
And and the family, your family, the gift shop.
Oh, we cleaned that place out. They might need to restock. I mean, the historic replica T-shirts. I got a Chestnut Canoe T-shirt, a Peterborough Canoe T-shirt. Dan got a hat. We got all of the paraphernalia and memorabilia, even maple candy. It was just all the things.
And I love Sarah's find. So their logo, Paddle and Portage logo, is someone portaging a canoe. And Sarah showed up here with some lovely earrings.
Yeah.
With almost your logo right on
Yeah,
it.
perfect. She saw them and said, "I need those." You do, yes. Let's get them.
So the Canadian Canoe Museum, a big up.
Oh, 2 thumbs
We'll
up.
vote. Yep.
Oh
we'll
my
we'll
gosh.
have a vote
Yeah.
here. There'll be-
All the thumbs.
It's a must do.
Cheers. All right.